This is the 2023 Chrysler Pacifica Hybrid, and it's one of only two cars that are still in production with the Chrysler name. The other one is the Chrysler 300. Chrysler claim that this minivan will hold up to 60 gallons of milk, a claim that I'm not going to challenge today, but I am going to test it and see if it's a better option than a full-size SUV. So Chrysler likes to take credit for introducing the minivan back in 1984, and it was an overnight success, and the competition quickly followed. And now, generations of kids have thrown their drinks and their food all over the interior. So fast forward today, 2023, and the car looks pretty good, but it is a year past when most manufacturers would typically redesign them. The thing is though, this car is still pretty good, even in its 7th year. And although minivans have somewhat of a stigma attached to them, it's still way more practical than a full-size SUV. They also cut through the air like this, rather than a brick-like SUV like this. So the hybrid's subtle badging at the front and unique mesh grille help to differentiate it from its gas-powered sibling. It also has these bi-function LED headlights. The Pacifica rides on these 18-inch polished aluminum rims, and it wears these 235/60 R18 all-season tires all around. So standard features on the Pacifica include automatic emergency braking, which includes cars and pedestrians. It's got blind spot monitoring, lane keep assist, forward collision control, and rain sensing wipers. Also included on this Pinnacle model, you get the premium Safety Sphere package, which gives you a 360-degree all-around camera and park assist. So typically on the hood you would get a 287 horsepower 3.6 liter V6. This has the hybrid system, so it's an Atkinson-cycle 3.6. It's got two motors to help it along with a combined output of around 260 horsepower. It's less than the gas model, but you do get 320 plus foot-pounds of torque, which is a lot more. So power is routed through the excellent eFlite variable transmission, and it's going to be a little bit slower than the regular gas model, around 0 to 60 in around 7.8 seconds, but way better fuel economy, 30 on the highway, and it'll do 32 miles on electric only. So the coolest feature on any minivan, in particular this one, are these power sliding doors. I absolutely love them, particularly if you're in a tight parking spot. And they open up to reveal the most luxurious minivan you have ever seen. But before we go there, let's check out the cargo space. So being a minivan, it has massive of space, approximately 32 cubic feet behind this third row. If you drop the third row, you get about 85 cubic feet. And if you drop all seats, you get 140 cubic feet, which is pretty much on a par with Chevy's Suburban. Dropping this third row is pretty straightforward. Just make sure that you put that headrest down. I'm going to grab hold of this and then pull on this one right here, and then simply down it goes, and then opposite way to get it back up again. Pull the seat back up and done. In this little cubby you get a 110 volt to charge the hybrid's battery. Super luxurious in the third row, very comfortable, plenty of headroom for me, actually plenty of legroom too. This seat is all the way back. You can get out by just pulling the lever there and going out that way, or you can walk through the two captain's chairs. The headliner continues all the way through the back. There's a little bit of a concave section here for your head. You've got your vents on either side. There's room for three seat belts, cup holder, grab handle, and then a little window shade here for when it gets really hot. The luxury continues in the second row. Seats are a lot more comfortable, and then you get these really nice leather scatter cushions with an embossed Chrysler logo there in the center. You also get your own blind, as in the third row, and then there's a handle to get out, plus a button to get out, plus you've got power windows as well. Ahead of you in the back of the driver's seat, you have got a screen that you can watch Netflix, etc. On there. You also get the remote control and a small pocket for something like an iPad or something like that, and then HDMI auxiliary and USB power in that seat as well. Nice little bin right here, and then when you pull this out, huge storage bin in the middle and two decent cup holders. In the front, the luxury continues with leather pretty much everywhere except for this piece right here. Very comfortable, 8-way power on both sides, lumbar, you name it, it's got it. So you get a nice big infotainment screen. It's got Uconnect 5, which is for the most part pretty quick. Nice big large air vents that actually cool your face and not your hands when they're on the wheel. I like that. A lot of physical buttons. Hit the home button. You can go into media. You've got your AC controls. This has got both heated and ventilated seats on both sides, which is a nice touch. Hit vehicle. You can check the fam cam. You can see what's going on in all the different seats. You can look at the surround camera. It gives you a forward view, a rearward view, another view, another one forward, and then the one at the back. See what's going on, and then the overhead one, which is my favorite. Particularly, this is not a difficult car to park, but this always helps you get into those tighter spaces. You've also got navigation. It's quick to load. Everything works really seamlessly. Down below there, you've got, I don't like this shifter. Sometimes I flick past it. Just a small gripe. Parking brake, physical volume and tuning buttons, lane departure, traction control off. You got your park assist systems, and then all your AC. You can control everything all the way through to the rear. Down here you get 2 decent sized cup holders and a very large storage space with a 12-volt and a lightning USB and a slower USB. Ahead of that and below the HVAC controls, you get this push door. Open that up, that reveals a pretty spacious Wi-Fi charging pad and 2 more fast and slow USBs and some additional storage space right there. And then underneath this floating section, center console, there is even more storage space for stuff. And one quick thing I forgot to mention was this comes with memory seats, which is always good. Out of the driver, you get a nice digital/analog instrument cluster. With on the left-hand side, of course, you don't get a tachometer. Instead, you get sort of a power meter. Tells you where, depending on how heavy your right foot is, whether you're using all the power, charging the battery, etc. Right in the middle, you'll see currently the state of charge for the battery is at 3% or 1 mile of range. I've got about 228 miles. Total, 227 of those is on gas. I did charge it, but I didn't have a whole lot when I came out today. I like to have the speedo in the center, but you can scroll through, see your tire pressures, assist systems, and then amazingly, and I've been driving this pretty hard in places, 29.9 miles to the gallon. Pretty impressive. I think if you spend a lot of time around town and you actually charge it, actually most people who do own a plug-in hybrid don't really charge them that often. You do a lot better than that. And then scrolling through trip info, audio, what's playing, any messages, screen setup, and then back to the speedo. It's very slick. So material quality in general is actually really nice. I like what they've done here, especially this wheel, and also you get this stitching here that covers possibly scratchy plastic, but it feels nice when it's covered in that vinyl. Everything else is of a really decent quality. You've got a little bit of extra storage right there. And then further down here, you get another cup holder for both driver and passenger. I can't complain. This is a very nice interior. But that's what you would expect in a car that costs $62,000. Now, obviously you don't have to spend that much money. They do start a hell of a lot cheaper, but you won't get this lovely interior. All right, let's take it for a drive and see how it does. Off we go. Now, I did charge it up before I came out here, but I went ahead and used all the battery on the way over, so now it's in more normal hybrid mode as opposed to there's no electric mode left. But, you know, we still get the feeling that it's pretty zippy. Ride comfort is exemplary. And there's definitely plenty of power in this car. It's particularly good for San Diego's potholed, really bad roads. Silent. Then you hear the 6 kick in. and it kicks in. It really is a nice transmission. This Chrysler eFlite system is really good. Put your foot down, the engine is silky smooth. And because it is a CVT type transmission, it does hold the revs, but it doesn't make an obnoxious noise like the four-cylinder variants on some of Toyota's and Honda's smaller hybrids. So anyway, we are going uphill, so we're using mostly gas. I can well believe that this will get from 0 to 60 in around 7.8 seconds. Now this is only a front driver, so you don't have the all-wheel drive advantage with the hybrid model, unfortunately. So when I first got in it, my range was 32 miles, obviously, of electric only, and like over 500 of gas range. Now I have 0 miles of electric, but 453 miles of gas range, which is pretty amazing. This is not a car that we should be hustling through these twisty back roads, but we are anyway, because that's what we do, right? Can we have a little bit of fun in this minivan? Well, the suspension's pretty soft, but it's well controlled. There's some sort of bumps and undulations on this particular stretch of road, but it's not having a problem. There's a little dip right there. Suspension so far hasn't been upset. Now I can imagine if you plow into a corner too fast, you are going to get catastrophic understeer. So let's not go there. So, not really tight turns here, but I'm kind of impressed that it gets a move on. It gets out of its own way. Now the downsides of getting the hybrid is you lose that stow and go, which is kind of a shame, but there has to be somewhere to put the batteries. Going downhill a little bit, we should be recouping a little bit of energy here. Impressive powertrain combo here. It really works. Now it just has these all seasons on, so grip is not the best, and lateral G is not going to be what a Corvette will do, but I can hustle this van through these twisties. Kind of impressive. Quick test of the brakes here. They're a little spongy, a little bit of a lack of initial bite, but they work, which is kind of what you want them to do. All right, from a stop here, a little bit of torque steer, but not too much. Uphill around a tight, twisty turn here. And the van is going around without complaint. It goes. The extra torque from the electric motors is definitely noticeable. Maybe not so much from a stop, but definitely once you are on the move. And I'm driving this thing hard and it still says 433 miles of range. I got the cooled seats on, it's about 92 degrees outside. I'm chilling and speeding along in the Chrysler Minivan Pacifica. Now I'm not sure that I would spend the whole $62,000. That's a big ask. I think this is just a good way for Chrysler to sell the lesser models, the lesser trims. Show somebody a $62,000 minivan in a showroom and they're like, oh, this is great. And then they end up with a slightly less nice model, but it's still a decent car. And as I said, even this one at $62K, you'll be hard pressed to find a full-size SUV that isn't going to be more expensive than that, with the options that this one has. So what do we think? Well, this minivan is really a very nice ride indeed. It's super soft, it's supple, the ride is incredible, the seats, the interior is very luxurious. Yes, you've got to pay $62,000 for it, but I love it. Wafting along on a mix of electrons and gas is great. So if you're thinking of getting an SUV, think again. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Like, subscribe, and we'll catch you next time with another video.